The man in the shadows, Damian Blake, stood at the floor-to-ceiling. Windows of his penthouse office on the 65th floor of the Blake Tower in downtown Chicago. At 43 years old, he had perfected the art of invisibility. The city sprawled beneath him like a circuit board of lights and lives, each window a story he would never be part of. He preferred it that way. After 20 years of carefully constructed walls, loneliness had become his most faithful companion. The Wall Street Journal on his desk proclaimed another triumph for Blake Media Empire. But the article praised the mysterious CEO who rarely made public appearances. Few people knew what Damian Blake actually looked like. Even fewer understood why he kept it that way. His assistant, Gerald Patterson, knocked before entering. "Sir, the new cleaning contract begins tonight. The service starts at 4 a.m. as requested." Damian nodded without turning. "Background checks complete?" Every employee cleared. "The company assured us of their discretion regarding sensitive documents." What Gerald did not know, what no one knew except Damian himself, was that each morning at 4:30 a.m., the real CEO descended from his penthouse to a modest office on the 58th floor. There he became Damian from operations, a forgettable middle manager in a gray suit. Watching his empire from within the ranks where truth lived. Different kind of morning. Rachel Torres pressed the elevator button with her elbow, balancing her cleaning cart while checking her phone. The text from her neighbor, Mrs. Kim, showed a photo of her son Noah sleeping peacefully, his tiny hand clutching his favorite stuffed elephant. Rachel's heart squeezed with the familiar mixture of love and guilt. At 21, she had more responsibilities than most people twice her age. The elevator climbed toward the executive floors of Blake Tower. Her first night on this prestigious contract, and Rachel was determined to prove herself worthy. The cleaning supervisor, Mr. Howard, had been clear during training. These floors house the most important offices in Chicago media. One mistake, one breach of confidentiality, and you are finished in this industry. Rachel understood stakes. She had been living with them since she was 18. When her parents gave her an ultimatum, terminate the pregnancy or leave their home. She chose Noah. She always chose Noah. The unexpected encounter. 58th floor was silent except for the soft hum of climate control. Rachel moved through the corridors with practiced efficiency, her cartwheels barely whispering against the carpet. She took pride in her work, treating every desk and surface with the same care she would want for her own belongings. In the third office from the corner, she found him. A man in a simple gray suit stood by the window, so still he seemed part of the pre-dawn darkness. Rachel froze, her hand on the cart. "I apologize. I was told all offices would be empty at this hour." Turned, and Rachel found herself looking into the most startling gray eyes she had ever seen. Not cold, despite their color, but cautious, guarded. "But don't apologize. I'm here early most mornings. Please, continue with your work." His voice was gentle, but carried an undertone of authority that made Rachel wonder about his actual position. "I can return later if you prefer privacy." "No need." He moved to his desk, settling into the chair with the ease of someone who spent considerable time there. "I find the quiet hours productive. I won't disturb you." Small conversations, big impressions. As Rachel worked, she felt his occasional glances. Not intrusive or uncomfortable, but curious, professional. When she emptied his waste bin, she noticed how organized everything was. Papers stacked precisely, pens arranged by color. Even the trash separated into recycling categories. "You're new here," he observed, his tone conversational rather than questioning. "First night," Rachel confirmed, dusting his bookshelf carefully. "I'm Rachel." Damian did not offer a last name or title. "Welcome to Blake Media." Something about the simplicity of the exchange felt honest. Rachel had developed good instincts about people during her years of struggle. This man, whoever he was, did not carry the arrogance she had encountered in other executives during her orientation. "You start early," she commented, then worried she had overstepped. "Sorry, that was not my business. It's fine." A small smile touched his lips. "I prefer the city at this hour, before everyone puts on their professional masks." Rachel understood that sentiment more than he knew. Every day, she wore her own mask of cheerful competence, hiding the exhaustion of single parenthood, the fear of not having enough, the weight of proving wrong everyone who had doubted her. A glimpse of truth, Damien found himself doing something he rarely did, engaging in genuine conversation. "Do you live far from here?" "South Side." "About an hour on the train." Rachel paused in her cleaning, unconsciously touching the pocket where she kept a small photo of Noah. "But the commute is worth it. This position offers benefits I could not get elsewhere." "Family." The question came out before Damien could stop it, breaking his own rule about personal involvement. Rachel's face transformed. Her entire demeanor softened with a warmth that hit Damien like a physical force. "A son, Noah. He's 3. Probably dreaming about dinosaurs right now." The love in her voice was so pure, so uncomplicated, that Damien felt something crack in the fortress around his heart. When was the last time he had heard someone speak with such unguarded affection? When was the last time he had felt anything approaching that depth of connection? "He's lucky to have you," Damien said quietly. Rachel met his eyes, and for a moment, something passed between them. Recognition, perhaps. Two people carrying burdens they did not discuss, maintaining dignity in circumstances that would have broken others. "I'm the lucky one," Rachel replied. "He gave me purpose when I thought I had none." The weight of the past after Rachel moved to the next office, Damien sat in the darkness, staring at nothing. 20 years ago, Jennifer Hartwell had taught him the cost of trust. She had been his fiancée, his confidant, the person he thought he would build a life with. Then he discovered she had been selling company secrets to competitors, using their relationship as cover for corporate espionage. The betrayal had not just broken his heart. It had fractured his ability to see people as anything other than potential threats. He had been 23 then, newly in charge of his father's company after a sudden heart attack claimed Richard Blake's life. Young, grieving, and naive. Jennifer had nearly destroyed everything his father built. Damien saved the company but lost something irreplaceable in himself, the ability to trust without suspicion, to love without fear. So he built walls. He created the persona of the mysterious CEO, maintaining distance while observing from within. For 2 decades, this strategy protected him. It also isolated him, until a 21-year-old single mother with tired eyes and unshakable dignity walked into his office and reminded him what genuine human connection felt. Like, the rhythm begins over the following 3 weeks. Damien found himself arriving earlier each morning. He told himself it was about productivity, about enjoying the quiet hours. But truthfully, he was waiting for Rachel. Their conversations remained brief and professional, but they began to form a rhythm. He learned that Noah loved elephants, that Rachel sang to herself while working when she thought no one was listening, that she arranged his desk items exactly as he preferred them without ever being told. She learned that Damien drank his coffee black, that he was kind to everyone regardless of position, that he had the saddest eyes she had ever seen. Even when he smiled, neither of them acknowledged the growing connection. Rachel needed her job too desperately to risk complications. Damien had spent 20 years avoiding exactly this kind of vulnerability, but something was shifting. In the pre-dawn hours of Chicago, on the 58th floor, where truth lived before the world woke up, 2 damaged people were beginning to recognize each other, and neither of them was quite ready for what that recognition would cost them. The storm. Gathering what neither Rachel nor Damien knew was that Vanessa Hunt had noticed. The sharp-eyed marketing director had built her career on reading people and exploiting weaknesses. She had been watching Damien from operations for months, trying to understand why someone so clearly intelligent remained in such a mediocre position. And now he was showing interest in a cleaning woman. Interesting, potentially. Useful. Vanessa smiled to herself as she reviewed the night shift schedules. In the corporate world, everything was leverage. Everyone had secrets. She would find theirs, and when the time was right, she would use them. The game was just beginning. The coffee conversation 3 weeks into their morning encounters, Damien did something he had not done in years. He took a risk. As Rachel finished cleaning his office, he cleared his throat. There's a quiet coffee shop 2 blocks from here. Would you join me for a cup before your shift ends? As colleagues, Rachel hesitated, her hand on the cleaning cart. Every instinct told her this was dangerous territory, but those gray eyes held no threat, only a tentative hope that mirrored something buried deep in her own chest. Just coffee, and I need to leave by 7 to pick up Noah. Understood. The small cafe was nearly empty at 6:30 in the morning. Damien insisted on paying, and Rachel did not have the energy to argue. She was already breaking her own rules by being here. They sat by the window, watching Chicago wake up around them. Tell me about Noah, Damien said, and Rachel's defenses crumbled. She spoke about her son with the kind of animation that transformed her entire face. How Noah insisted on wearing his dinosaur pajamas under his regular clothes for good luck. How he made friends with every person and animal he encountered. How he asked impossible questions like why is the sky not green, and expected her to have answers. Sounds remarkable, Damien said softly. You're doing an incredible job raising him. Rachel's smile faded slightly. People don't usually see it that way. They see a young single mother and make assumptions. That I'm irresponsible. That I trapped some boy with a pregnancy. That I'm looking for handouts. People who think that are idiots. The firmness in Damien's voice surprised them both. Anyone who watches you work, who sees how you carry yourself, knows exactly what kind of person you are. Strong, principled, devoted. Tears pricked Rachel's eyes. When was the last time someone had seen her clearly? His father signed away his rights before Noah was born. My parents gave me a choice between my baby and their support. I chose Noah. I'll always choose Noah. Damien reached across the table, stopping just short of touching her hand. That's not a choice. That's love. The kind most people never have the courage to give. The false accusation the following Monday, Rachel arrived at work to find Mr. Howard waiting by her cart, his face grim. Torres, we need to talk. In private, her stomach dropped. Is something wrong? Vanessa Hunt from marketing filed a complaint. She claims an expensive pen is missing from her office. A limited edition worth $3,000? Rachel's world tilted. I never touched any personal items. I only cleaned surfaces and empty trash. You know the protocols. I know. Mr. Howard looked uncomfortable. But she's insisting your cart be searched. She says she saw you near her office last Thursday, 'cause that's my assigned floor. Rachel's voice shook with anger and fear. This is ridiculous. I haven't stolen anything. The search turned up nothing, of course, but the damage was done. By mid-morning, whispers followed Rachel through every corridor. The new cleaner accused of theft, the single mother who probably needed the money, the girl who could not be trusted. Rachel held her head high and continued working, but inside, she was fracturing. She had worked so hard to build a stable life for Noah. One accusation, true or not, could destroy everything. Damien's intervention. Damien learned about the accusation from Gerald. His jaw tightened as he listened to the details. Hunt filed this complaint personally? Yes, sir. Those security footage shows Torres never entered Hunt's office during the alleged time frame. Send me everything. Camera records, Torres's work logs, all of it. Damien's voice was cold. And schedule a meeting with Hunt. In my operations office, not the executive suite. When Vanessa arrived that afternoon, she wore her signature power suit and condescending smile. Damien from operations. To what do I owe this summons? You filed a false complaint against Rachel Torres. Vanessa's smile never wavered. I filed a legitimate concern about missing property. If she's innocent, she has nothing to worry about. The security footage proves she never entered your office. Your pen was never stolen. You manufactured this accusation. Damien stood, and something in his posture made Vanessa take an involuntary step back. Why? I don't answer to mid-level managers, but you answer to the CEO. Damien's voice dropped to a dangerous quiet. And I'm curious what explanation you'll give him when he learns you're harassing employees with fabricated theft charges. Vanessa's eyes narrowed. You're awfully invested in defending a cleaner. Makes one wonder about your relationship with her. My relationship with Rachel Torres is none of your concern. Your abuse of power is very much my concern. Withdraw the complaint. Apologize to Torres, or this goes to HR in the executive office with my full recommendation for your termination. For the first time, uncertainty flickered across Vanessa's face. You're bluffing. You don't have that kind of influence. Try me. Crisis of the heart that evening. Rachel received a text from Mrs. Kim. Her reliable neighbor was apologetic but firm. Emergency with my daughter in Wisconsin. Need to leave tonight. Can't watch Noah tomorrow. Rachel stared at her phone in despair. The backup childcare options were all closed or fully booked. Noah's daycare did not open until 8 a.m. Her shift started at 4. She could not afford to miss work, not with the theft accusation hanging over her head. But she could not leave her 3-year-old son alone. She was still trying to solve this impossible equation when her phone rang. An unknown number? Rachel? It's Damien. I hope you don't mind that I got your number from the employee directory. Paused. I heard about Hunt's complaint. I want you to know I made sure it was withdrawn. She had no evidence because nothing happened. Your job is secure. Relief flooded through her, followed immediately by fresh anxiety. Thank you, but I might lose it anyway. My childcare fell through for tomorrow. I've been calling everywhere. No one has openings on such short notice. Bring Noah to work. What? There's a family lounge on the 45th floor. Comfortable couches, television, toys for employee children who are sick or off school. Bring Noah there. I'll stay with him while you work. Rachel's throat tightened. Damien, you don't have to do that. I can't ask you to spend your morning babysitting. You're not asking. I'm offering. Family comes first, Rachel, always. The morning that changed everything at 4 a.m. the next morning. Rachel entered Blake Tower carrying Noah, who was still half asleep. Damien met them at the family lounge, dressed casually in jeans and a sweater. He looked younger this way, more approachable, though the kindness in his eyes remained constant. Hey, buddy, Damien said softly to Noah. I'm Damien. I'm going to hang out with you while your mom works. Is that okay? Noah studied him with the serious intensity only a 3-year-old could muster. Do you like elephants? I do now. Rachel kissed Noah's forehead. I'll check on you every hour. Be good for Damien? I will, Mama. Watching them together over the next few hours broke something open in Rachel's chest. Damien sat on the floor building block towers for Noah to knock down. He read stories with funny voices. He did not check his phone once, or show any sign of impatience with a toddler's endless questions. Why are your eyes sad? Noah asked at one point, touching Damien's face with sticky fingers. Damien went very still. Sometimes grown-ups have sad memories, but being with you is making me feel happier. Good, Noah patted his cheek. Mama says happy's better. Charity Gala disastered 2 weeks later. Blake Media hosted its annual Charity Gala. Damien typically avoided these events, but this year he made an exception. As he stood in the grand ballroom, maintaining his low profile, Vanessa's voice carried across the room. Did you hear about the new cleaning staff? One of them had a child out of wedlock at 18. Parents disowned her. The father wanted nothing to do with the baby. Vanessa's tone dripped with false sympathy. I'm sure she does her best, but one has to question her judgment and character. Damien's hands clenched. He was moving toward Vanessa when the ballroom doors opened. Rachel stood there, Noah on her hip, both of them looking lost and terrified. Her uniform was rumpled, her hair escaping its ponytail. I'm so sorry. Mrs. Kim had a medical emergency, and I have no one else. I just need to finish my shift. Please, I'll be quick. The ballroom fell silent. Hundreds of Chicago's elite stared at the young mother who had just interrupted their glittering evening. Vanessa's smile was poisonous. How inappropriate. Security, please escort them out. And Torres, don't bother returning. You're fired. No. Damien's voice cut through the room like a blade. She's not. He walked forward, and with each step, something shifted. His posture straightened. His expression hardened into unmistakable authority. When he spoke again, Everyone in the room recognized the voice they had heard in recorded messages and press conferences, but never in person. Rachel Torres is an exemplary employee whose dedication and integrity are beyond question. Vanessa Hunt, however, has repeatedly harassed staff, filed false complaints, and demonstrated the kind of character that has no place in this organization. You're terminated, effective immediately. Vanessa went pale. You can't be. You're just Damien from operations. I'm Damien Blake, CEO, owner, and I'm done hiding. The shattering the ballroom erupted in whispers. Cameras flashed. But Damien only saw Rachel's face. The shock, the betrayal, the dawning realization that everything between them had been built on deception. You lied to me, she whispered. All this time, every conversation. You let me pour out my heart to you, and you were lying. Rachel, please. Let me explain. Explain what? Her voice broke. That you were pretending to be someone you're not. That you were watching me like some kind of experiment? Was I entertainment for you? The poor single mother you could study. No, God, no. I hid my identity to see people as they truly are. But with you, I was more myself than I'd been in 20 years. I don't even know who you are. Tears streamed down her face. I thought I did. I thought you understood what it's like to struggle, to work hard, to be judged. But you're a billionaire playing dress-up. She shifted Noah higher on her hip. Her son, sensing his mother's distress, began to cry. I quit. Keep your pity job and your charity. I don't need anything from you. Rachel walked out of the ballroom, out of Blake Tower, and Damien stood frozen, watching his carefully constructed world collapse around the only person who had made him feel alive in 2 decades, the aftermath and the chaos that followed. Damien gave a speech about second chances and corporate responsibility, spinning the scandal into a planned announcement about new hiring initiatives. His PR team worked through the night managing the story, but Damien could only think about Rachel's face, the hurt in her eyes, the way she had clutched Noah protectively, as if Damien himself was now a threat to their small family. He had wanted to protect her. Instead, he had become another person who'd let her down. Another reason for her to build walls against the world. At 3 a.m., Damien sat alone in his penthouse, the city lights blurring through tears he had not shed in 20 years. He had spent 2 decades protecting himself from pain. And in one evening, it inflicted more pain than Jennifer's betrayal had ever caused him. His phone showed 17 missed calls from board members, 43 emails from press outlets, and 1 text message from Gerald. The board wants an emergency meeting. This is bad. Damien deleted them all and typed a different message. Rachel, I know you don't want to hear from me, but the job offer stands. Not because of tonight, because you earned it. You don't have to forgive me. But please don't let my mistakes cost you and Noah the opportunities you deserve. He did not expect a response. He did not deserve one. But as dawn broke over Chicago, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink, Damien Blake made a decision. He had spent 20 years hiding. 20 years protecting himself from feeling anything. Rachel Torres had shown him what he had been missing, even if she never spoke to him again. He would make sure she and Noah had everything they needed to build the life they deserved. It was the least he could do, and maybe, somehow, would be enough. 7 days of silence. Rachel spent the week after the gala in a fog of humiliation and heartbreak. The story had gone viral. Billionaire CEO's secret identity revealed at charity event. Her face was in half the photos, forever immortalized as the confused cleaning woman holding her child at a black tie affair. Job applications went nowhere. The moment potential employers searched her name, they found the scandal. Single mother. Entangled with billionaire boss drama. Risk. Rejection after rejection. Piled up in her inbox, Noah asked about the sad man with kind eyes every night. Rachel had no answers to give him. On the 8th day, a courier delivered a package. Inside was an employment contract from Blake Media, along with a detailed letter from the board of directors. The position of Community Outreach Director had been created and approved by unanimous vote. Based on a proposal submitted by the executive team weeks before the gala, the salary was fair for the role. The benefits were standard. There was nothing charitable about it. A handwritten note fell from the envelope. In Damien's careful script, "This isn't about us. This is about what you can build. The choice is yours." It always was. Mrs. Kim, recovered from her emergency, and once again watching Noah, pushed a cup of tea across the table. "What does your heart tell you?" "My heart is an idiot who falls for liars." "Your heart recognized someone as lonely and damaged as you are." Mrs. Kim's voice was gentle but firm. "He made a mistake. A big one. But everything he did for you and Noah, that was real. I saw it myself." Rachel stared at the contract. "Community Outreach Director. A real job. Career. Health insurance that would cover Noah's constant ear infections. A chance to do meaningful work instead of just surviving. Could she separate the opportunity from the man who had created it? Did she even want to? The first day back, Rachel wore a navy dress, modest heels, and armor made of determination. She would take this job. She would excel at it. And she would maintain absolute professional distance from Damien. Blake, her new office on the 42nd floor, had a view of the Chicago River. Small desk in the corner held coloring books and crayons. Ready for the days Noah needed to stay with her. Someone had thought of everything. Welcome aboard. Her assistant, Kevin Park, was enthusiastic and organized. "Mr. Blake wanted me to give you this." He handed her a folder. "Your first project proposal. But he said to feel free to completely change it or ignore it." His words, not mine. The proposal outlined a mentorship program for single parents seeking career advancement. Rachel's throat tightened. Even now, even after everything, Damien saw her clearly. "Is Mr. Blake in the building?" She tried to sound casual. "Executive floor. He's been practically living there since the gala." "Some kind of complicated business situation?" Evan lowered his voice. "Between you and me, he looks terrible. I've never seen him like this." The unwelcome return. Rachel spent the morning in meetings, impressing department heads with her ideas for community partnerships. She was good at this. She belonged here. The thought was both empowering and terrifying. She was reviewing budget proposals when Kevin's voice came through the intercom. "Ms. Torres, there's a Tyler Grant here to see you. He says it's personal." The name hit Rachel like a physical blow. Tyler Grant, Noah's biological father. The boy who had promised her everything and abandoned her the moment. Pregnancy became real. He walked into her office looking exactly as she remembered. Handsome, polished, empty. "Rachel, you look successful." "I'm impressed." "What do you want, Tyler?" "Can't an old friend stop by to say hello?" His smile was calculated. "I read about you in the news. Dating a billionaire now? You've come a long way from the girl crying in my dorm room." Rachel's hands gripped the desk edge. "I'm not dating anyone, and you need to leave. Actually, I'm here on business. Grant Publishing is in merger talks with Blake Media. Imagine my surprise when I saw your name on the employee roster." He sat down without invitation. "We should discuss how this might look. Me, you, our history could complicate things." "There is no history. There's a child you denied and a woman you tried to pay off. That's all." Tyler's expression hardened. "My family's company needs this merger. I won't let your vendetta destroy it." "I don't have a vendetta. I have a life that doesn't include you." Rachel stood. "Get out of my office before I call security." "Call them." Tyler leaned back, confident. "But maybe think about how it looks. A woman with your past, jumping from man to man, climbing the corporate ladder on your back. People talk, Rachel. People make assumptions. Do you want Noah growing up with those whispers following him?" Damien's declaration. Rachel was shaking when Tyler finally left. She did not see Kevin slip out to make a phone call. Did not know that within 5 minutes, Damien was heading to her floor, Gerald rushing to keep up. "Sir, you have the merger negotiation in 10 minutes? Cancel it. Grant Publishing will walk. Let them walk." Damien's voice was steel. He found Rachel standing at her window, arms wrapped around herself. "Rachel," she turned, and the vulnerability in her face destroyed him. He's here, Tyler. He's part of Grant Publishing. This merger brings him into my life again. There's no merger. Damien spoke with absolute certainty. I'm terminating negotiations immediately. Can't do that. Kevin said it's a huge deal for the company. Company will survive. You matter more. Damien took a step closer, then stopped, respecting the distance she needed. I won't let him hurt you or Noah. Whatever it costs. This is exactly what he warned me about. Rachel's voice broke. He'll tell everyone I'm manipulating you, that I'm using you. It'll destroy your reputation and mine. The reputation has survived worse. Yours will too, because it's built on truth. Damien's gray eyes held hers. Rachel, I spent 20 years hiding because I was afraid of being hurt again. Afraid of trusting the wrong person. Then I met you, and I was still so afraid that I hid behind a false identity. I hurt you because of my cowardice. Damien, let me finish. Please. He took a breath. You are the strongest, most genuine person I've ever known. You chose your child over comfort. You work with dignity no matter the job. You see people as they are, not as their titles. Everything I did, every lie I told, was my failure, not yours. And if Tyler Grant or anyone else tries to twist that truth, I will spend every resource I have fighting them. The battle lines by noon, the story broke. Tyler had leaked to the press, Baby Daddy Speaks, truth about Blake's CEO's new girlfriend. The article painted Rachel as a gold digger who had tried to trap Tyler, failed, and moved on to a bigger target in Damien. Rachel read it in her office. Nausea rising. This was her worst nightmare. Her past weaponized against her present. Her son's story twisted into gossip. Her phone rang. An unknown number. Against her better judgment, she answered, Ms. Torres. This is Helen Grant, Tyler's mother. We need to talk. I have nothing to say to your family. That's unfortunate. Helen's voice was crisp, businesslike. Because we have a great deal to say about you. My son made a youthful mistake with you. We offered fair compensation, which you rejected out of pride. Now, you're attempting to sabotage our business deal out of spite. I'm not attempting anything, and convince Blake to honor the merger agreement. In exchange, we'll release a statement clarifying that there was never any real relationship between you and Tyler, just a brief teenage indiscretion. It protects everyone's reputation. Rachel's hand tightened on the phone. A brief indiscretion. That's what you call my son? I call him leverage, Ms. Torres. You have 24 hours to decide. The press conference. Rachel went straight to Damien's office. She did not call ahead, just walked past his assistant and through his door. He was on the phone but ended the call the moment he saw her face. They want me to convince you to do the merger. They're threatening to destroy both our reputations if I don't. They called Noah a brief indiscretion and leverage. Damien's expression went cold in a way Rachel had never seen. Schedule a press conference. 1 hour. I'm done playing defense. Damien, think about this. I have. For 8 days, I've thought about nothing but how I failed you. How I let fear control me. How I hid instead of being brave. You moved closer. You face the world honestly every single day. You never hide who you are or what you've been through. You're braver than I'll ever be. It's time I learned from you. The press conference room was packed. Cameras from every major outlet. Reporters hungry for scandal. Rachel stood backstage, her hands ice cold, as Damien took the podium. I'm Damien Blake, and I'm here to tell you the truth about several things. First, the merger with Grant Publishing is permanently canceled. Their leadership has engaged in harassment and blackmail, which I won't support or tolerate. Gasps and shouts from the press. Second, Tyler Grant abandoned his child and the woman he claimed to love. His family then attempted to buy her silence. She refused because she has more integrity than their entire company combined. Rachel's eyes filled with tears. Third, I did disguise my identity within my own company for 20 years. I thought it protected me. Instead, it kept me isolated and alone. until I met someone who showed me that real strength is vulnerability. Real power is choosing love over fear. Real success is building something meaningful with people who matter. Damien's voice softened, his eyes finding Rachel backstage. Rachel Torres is the most remarkable person I've ever known. Not despite her struggles, but because of how she's faced them. She doesn't need me, or my money, or my defense. She's proven she can stand on her own. But I'm hoping she'll let me stand beside her anyway. The press conference ended in chaos, but Damien walked backstage straight to Rachel. That was either very brave or very stupid. Probably both. He smiled, tentative. Did I make things worse? You just told the world you're in love with me. I did, didn't I? Damien's voice was soft. Is that okay? Rachel looked at this man who had been broken and had done the hard work of putting himself back together, who had made terrible mistakes and owned them, who saw her son not as a complication but as part of what made her remarkable.
Noah
asks about you every night. He calls you the sad man with kind eyes. He wants to know when you're coming back. What do you want, Rachel? She took his hand, feeling the slight tremble in his fingers that matched her own. I want the truth. Always. No more hiding. No more protecting me from things I can handle myself. I promise. I want you to know that I don't need rescuing. I need a partner. Someone who respects that I've built my life on my own terms and wants to add to it, not fix it. I can do that. Damien squeezed her hand gently. Though I should warn you, I'm going to spoil Noah rotten. Rachel laughed through her tears. He'll love that. 6 months later, the community center was packed for its grand opening. Rachel had spent half a year building the program from scratch. Mentorship and job training for single parents fighting for better lives. Damien had funded it, but everyone knew the vision was entirely hers. Noah ran through the crowd, his dinosaur backpack bouncing, heading straight for Damien. Did you see the playground? It has a slide shaped like an elephant. I did see it. Damien scooped him up. What do you think? It's perfect. Just like Mama said it would be. Rachel joined them, slipping her hand into Damien's. In 6 months, they had built something real. Not perfect, but honest. They had argued about boundaries and learned each other's damage. They had gone to therapy individually and together. They had introduced Noah to the idea slowly, carefully, always putting his needs first. Ready for your speech? Damien asked. Terrified, Rachel admitted. But I'll do it anyway. That's my girl. As Rachel took the podium to address the crowd, speaking about second chances and the power of community, Damien watched with Noah on his hip. 20 years of isolation had taught him to be careful. 3 hours with Rachel had taught him to be brave. Do you love my mama? Noah asked quietly. Very much. Good. Noah patted his cheek, the gesture now familiar. She loves you too. She smiles different now. Happy smiles. Later that night, after Noah was asleep and they stood on Rachel's small balcony watching the city lights, Damien pulled a small box from his pocket. Before you panic, this isn't what you think. Not yet. He opened it to reveal a key. It's to my place. Our place. If you want it. No pressure. No timeline. Just an open door whenever you and Noah are ready to walk through it. A symbol of trust. Of futures built together instead of walls built alone. Ask me again in 6 months, she said, about making it official. I will. Damien kissed her forehead. I'll ask you every 6 months until you say yes. What if I never say yes? Then I'll spend my life happy, just standing beside you. Rachel leaned into him, feeling safe and seen and chosen. Not rescued. Not saved. But loved exactly as she was.